Greetings, everybody! Welcome once more to the Dracovin Empire! Are ready to dive back into the world of darkness once more? Because if you are ready to head to the world of darkness, I can introduce you to another Kith game of the Changelings of the Dreaming. Technically not, but also yes. What do I mean by that? Well, we're going to be talking about the Autumn She. She who remained behind and took the Changeling way, and are very different than their Arcadian counterparts. They're fascinating, different, yet they still are the same in a lot of ways. We'll discuss it. I'm your host and guide here, who could open up a gateway through the universe, through time and space, to enter the world of darkness, the world so close to our own. Please just make sure to tip me before we leave there, and head over there, liking the video, subscribing over on the YouTube side of things, and letting me know your experience with Autumn She. Alright, it's very hot. Are you ready to go? Grab my hand. I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna go through some heat and stuff. Don't mind the barrier of intense burning heat. I'll try to keep as cool as possible when we head to the world of darkness. Let's get rocking and rolling. Ooh. Sorry about that, a little bit of a heat wave over here as we're learning about the sheep. So, let's just begin with the basics and where we get our book from. And the thing is, the Autumn She and them being different than Arcadian She really came about in C20. This is when there was really a break between the two of them, and they became unique subsets of the entire group. Certainly speaking, we can consider them the same. Most of my videos on She overall are Arcadian She, but I feel like because they are different enough and have gone through different enough situation, we do have to talk about them in their own rights. Anyway, so, the Autumn She. These are usually She from House, I keep butchering it, Skaha, one of the noble houses that stayed behind and did not flee into the Autumn world during the Shatter, and they then took the Changeling way. The Arcadian She often consider them half-breeds or mongrels, that they're the betters of them. But the thing is, they are treated with respect by other Kithcane, who view them as basically braver. These are the nobles that want to lead from the front. There is a respect to them for this entire. Respect that they have indeed, in many ways, earned. So if we look to the shattering, the gates of Arcadia slamming shut, the She fleeing Earth, leaving the commoners behind. And most of the time, when commoners think about the return of the She, they think to July 20th, 1969, and that the She returned back to the mortal world. They were turned back to banality. And the fact is, this was thought by many commoners the only member of the Shining Host in the mortal world. Most were wrong. So there were She around, it's just that not everybody knew about them. Most of them were off their sides. The main noble houses we have to talk about are Skaha and Liam. These were the ones that chose to remain behind, take the Changeling way, to survive banality. It doesn't mean that there were other individuals from various other houses that may have stayed behind for more personal choices, but these were the two main branches that you will find when it comes to Autumn She. When the Shining Host returns, these houses basically emerged and greeted these Arcadian cousins, and basically like, hey, we're going to help you learn what to do around here. Unfortunately, basically, rather than being accepted, distrust and fear. Who the hell are you? Why were you here? What? What's going on? You should have gone with us. The Autumn She were judged to be flawed, tainted by cycles of death and rebirth. You have to think about it that the Arcadian She are basically immortal, where the Autumn ones have taken the Changeling way and have entered that cycles of death and rebirth, something that the Arcadian ones aren't used to. But in return, the Autumn She have embraced this name with a pride, because they basically see themselves as the synergy between Fey brilliance, basically what She are, and the perfection of the mortal condition. They are both the perfection of mortal and the perfection of Changeling. In one. Of Fey. They are different from Arcadian counterparts. Arcadian She are very inhuman in their splendor. The grace and power of the Autumn She is a lot more down-to-earth beauty. They are basically the pinnacle of human beauty, with all its foibles, oddities, and asymmetry. They are stunning and beautiful by humans, but this means they're also more approachable and understandable. They are not alien in their beauty, like those of the Arcadians. They also have a grounded perspective. They believe they are not owed power through the noblesse oblige, but by the right of their own time facing autumn side by side with the commoners. Like, hey, we put up with this shit. We earned our place in charge. Commoners still can be like, what are you saying? But again, it's this weird place to be disdained by fellow Sidhe and distrusted by commoners they wish to embrace, so they're this weird spot in time between two worlds. They do have advantages when it comes to their trading and brethren, because they understand the mortal world. They are in touch. Commoners, moral society, and technology. Yeah, they grew up here. They know everything. They understand cultural, industry, business, society. And, you know, their beauty is the pinnacle of human beauty. It's charisma, affability, and it opens a lot of doors to the mortal world. An Autumn Sidhe could be a celebrity very easily, with mortals flocking to them. And despite this grounding in the mortal world, they are still powerful Sidhe. They aren't to be underestimated. They are Sidhe nonetheless. So, yeah. Their success in basically merging with the rest of the Changeling population and modern society actually convinced a number of Arcadian Sidhe to start taking up the Changeling way and join the Autumn Sidhe in this new world. So the fact is, yes, it's not all of them, but they are growing in numbers from other houses, from those that are being like, hey, they have the right idea. This is a new world, a new way of doing things. We have to adapt. So probably a lot more of those open-minded Arcadian Sidhe who are a bit more on the new world, new way of doing things, let's not go true tradition, are going to be the ones that are kind of abandoning the old ways and joining the Autumn Sidhe. Their pride bonds them together, the Autumn Sidhe. They've survived the world of the autumn with dedication, perseverance, wisdom, hard work, and they've earned a right that their Arcadian cousins haven't done, that they take for granted, a right to rule. So it's this line between the otherworldness of Arcadia and the earthly complex beauty of mankind, and they are right between it. A fascinating place to be overall. So if we look at them, an Autumn Sidhe has taken on the Changeling way. They're not flawless like Arcadian Sidhe are, but they have a wild beauty of human complexity. Asymmetry, bodies of all types and sizes, possibly all colors. They walk a noble bearing, like all Sidhes do, but the tips of their ears are pointed, and they have an impossible graceful movement to their feet. They dress, basically, in their Changeling lifestyles, but they have a beautiful figure amongst even Fae still, even too. Old world beauty, stylish evolution. We look to their various Seemings. As a childling, well, they've got their own beauty and charm. They're still reminded that though they are privileged, they're born with responsibility. They're schooled in the ways of court, and Autumn childlings are taught to roll their sleeves and pitch in to earn your power. The early lessons of humility can temper a child's natural haughtiness, or they can be resentment or rebellion. Hey, silly and unseelie paths. As a wilder, you enter court and governance along with your Arcadian counterparts. You'll do less things of your childhood years, and the Autumn is taught not to rule by not only the rules of nobility, but to keep in contact with commoners and maintain a connection to the mortal world. It's a delicate balance for a wilder, who can be overwhelmed by the pressure to flip back and forth, basically for your place in the world. And as an Autumn grump, you walk the balance of the wilder years and come out a grounded noble. Your grace, hard work, expertise, you embrace the inherent power and temper it from consideration for the changed mortal world around you. The best Autumn grumps will lead by example in battle to maintain a spark of glamour that even the even colder autumn world. Those that lose themselves to banality are soon to be are too soon undone, while those that hide away in their freeholds lose sight of the mortal world and sink into bed. So you get out there even as a grump and you put yourself in the front. It's important. So like our friends the Arcadian Sidhe, they have the same unearthly beauty. You get 2 additional dots of appearance that can go above 5. And they also have the noble bearings of a Sidhe. So these 2 things are pretty much the same. The difference comes in their frailty. They have a completely different frailty from the Arcadian She. Adoration. Basically, they're better in tune with mortals and has its own problems. When our Autumn She successfully enchants or interacts meaningfully with a mortal, there's a chance that that mortal could become completely enamored with them. Like, unhealthily enamored with them. You know, asking pictures, autographs, basically wanting detailed interactions, wanting to be more, in connected with it. And if that mortal botches the check they make to possibly resist this effect, then they are basically stalker. The unhealthy, like, it borders on unhealthy normally. If it's a botch, oh, you know it's going to be, unhealthy obsession, and that can cause problems for our poor Autumn She. When it comes to unleashing their cantrips, there is unique a fingerprint and is recognized as its own. Basically, seal the autumns, let loose beautiful music, cleanse the dirt around them, cause rosy lights to douse, unseal the, cause rot to erupt among stone walls, cracks in sidewalks, blustering winds about around them. They're still like the Arcadian counterparts if they unleash bursts of light if they're sealy, or bursts of darkness if they're unsealy. So it's like, it is a little different. They're more connected with the world when they unleash their cantrips. But there is that also similarity to their cousins, because they are still, well, sheep. You're not getting beyond that. And I think that's kind of where we can leave it today. I did want to do these 3 videos, and I think it was a very important thing to see that there's this difference between Arcadian and Autumn She. They established it deep within the C20, the 20th anniversary, and it was a very interesting, definitely dynamic, and it does make them completely different in a lot of ways. Certainly speaking, there are the similarities. They are both, in a way, sheep. But Autumn She have faced the world. They have come along with it. They've been in the Changeling way. They understand the society that mortals are in. They are connected with it. They have not only a different bearing in a lot of ways, but a different connection to this world. Still seeing themselves as the nobles of this world, but they basically have a different things. They didn't inherit this just because they're a noble. They inherited the right because they earned it. It's these thoughts and ideas that are in them that is a fascinating part about the sheep as they are. The fact that they have basically faced this world and found ways to overcome. And that is why I think Autumn She are the more interesting members of the She group, of the Kith, honestly. But again, like, you kind of have to go where they are as a collective and talk about their 2 groups, because there is, honestly, this split. And it's a pretty significant split between the 2. So I hope you enjoyed my multi-week dive into She overall. Honestly, they are a major part of the Changeling way and Changeling game, because they are the nobles. They define a lot of it. They've defined a lot of the story points. And they kind of need to be told in this way. So, I hope you enjoyed diving in. If you want to see more of my stuff, go check stuff over on YouTube. Please give me support over there, subscribing if you can, liking any kind of videos, and letting me know your experience with She as the Autumn ones in the comments below over on the YouTube section. Go check me out on Twitch. I record all tabletop stuff right there. I have live plays that Fall Evans both Wednesdays at 8, discussing tabletop Saturdays at 6, where it's a kind of talk showy kind of podcast kind of thing. Talk about news of the week, deeper topics in tabletop. Check out my social media link below, and give all the support you can wherever you are. I'm joining you live over on YouTube. Hey everybody, thank you for joining. I gave my spiel. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. We'll dive into a different Kith for once, or do some other tabletop-related stuff. But until then, I bid all of you out there a deep and wonderful farewell.